All right. One final example of evaluating a trigonometric function with some really gritty looking angles like so. So we're going to do the tangent of negative 17 pi over 6. Okay. We know that to find the tangent of an angle, we're going to take the y coordinate over the x coordinate. Negative 17 pi over 6, where is it, right? It's somewhere on this unit circle, right? It's just not labeled because it's coterminal with one of these. The first thing we want to recognize is the reference angle here is pi over 6, which means 17 pi over 6 is going to be one of these four angles, right? Because it can't be reduced. If it could be reduced, it'd be a different story, right? If it was 18 pi over 6, that would be negative 3 pi, which wouldn't be one of these because there's no 6 underneath it at that point. Anyway, negative 17 pi over 6. Couple of ways to talk about this. I've already shown you in a couple of other videos how you can just find the coterminal angle for negative 17 pi over 6. I want to talk about a different method, right? Which I showed you in a previous video towards the end. Okay, and that is counting around the unit circle. All right, so that's what I'm going to focus on here for this one. Let me get it. Let's do green. How about that? Okay. Now what that means is I'm going to count negatively, and I'm going to count by pi over 6 angles as I move around the unit circle. Every 30-degree angle is pi over 6, whether I move positively or negatively. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and I'm going to count every 30-degree rotation is another pi over 6, right? So here's negative 1 pi over 6. This angle down here is another 30-degree rotation. I have to go past that 45-degree angle, right? Because from here to here is 60, which is two 30-degree angles. And my neurosis here is, I gotta move that back. Sorry about that. So here's negative pi over 6, negative 2 pi over 6, negative 3 pi over 6, negative 4, negative 5 pi over 6, negative 7, or 6, excuse me, negative 6 pi over 6, right? 6 pi over 6, the 6's cancel, so it's negative pi, makes sense. Negative 7 pi over 6, negative 8 pi over 6. Now, again, 8 over 6, right, is going to reduce. Negative, where are we at? Sorry, 9 pi over 6, negative 10 pi over 6, negative 11 pi over 6, negative 12, negative 13, negative 14, negative 15, negative 16, negative 17 pi over 6, right there, in the same position as 7 pi over 6. So negative 17 pi over 6 is coterminal with, and I'm going to say this, just 7 pi over 6. They're coterminal angles, okay? If you went off to the sides and you said, well, I'm just going to find the coterminal angle for negative 17 pi over 6, and you added 12 pi over 6, that would be negative 5 pi over 6. If you know where negative 5 pi over 6 is, great. It's right here. Yeah, it's the reflection of positive 5 pi over 6. We'll get into that another day. But if I wanted to add another 12 pi over 6 to get the positive angle as they're labeled on the unit circle, I would have got to 7 pi over 6 eventually, right? So the tangent of 7 pi over 6 is the y coordinate over the x coordinate, both negative. So we end up, because they're both negative, if it's okay with you guys, I'm just going to get rid of the negatives because I know the answer is going to end up being positive. Negative times a negative is a positive, so just get rid of them now. The 2's cancel, 1 over radical 3, and then we multiply by radical 3 to get radical 3 over 3. No more work needed, right, to deal with this. Once we get past the point of finding the coterminal angle, you don't have to make this negative because this is negative, yada, yada, yada. You've done all that work. Just take y over x and get your answer.